By the way, very inspirational, Federico, and very funny, yeah? So, the Viva la Libertad, carajo, became a slogan around the world. Now, good afternoon to everyone. I'm here with a man that I know from a long time, and I respect even more. I'm here with Mr. Gurría, Ángel Gurría, that many of you know. He has been holding key positions in the Mexican, top positions in the Mexican government, among them being Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Finance and Public Credit. And probably many of you know that he has been 15 years leading the OECD in Paris, and now currently is the president of the Paris Peace Forum, that he told me before that he is coming from a meeting of this forum that is, as the name says, is fighting for the peace in the world. Fighting for the peace probably is a strange way to say it. Okay, this conference is about growth, yeah? The origin of growth. We're gonna focus the origin of growth in Mexico, in your own country, yeah? So Mexico is, as all of you know, is an important country. Someone else said before that beyond the 3 or the 2 blocks plus EU, there are several important countries, among them is Mexico. Mexico, in the last few years, has been very resilient. Yeah, the economy has been very resilient. And this is a relatively good outcome. And I say relatively good outcome because when I read the economists, they say that Mexico is growing below potential growth of the economy. My first question is related with this. In your view, what are the structural reforms that should be made in Mexico in order to have a, let's say, superior growth, superior and sustainable growth going forward?
Well, first of all, let me say, we have been underperforming, which is a very elegant way to put it. I think we have had practically no growth for the last 6 years, all the time of López Obrador, and the 1 year we are debating whether we are going to grow at 0.3 or 0.4 or 0 or what have you. Then in 26, we're saying maybe 1%. So it looks better than a terrible performance, but 1% or 0.5% or the 0.7 or 8, 0.8 during the whole of López Obrador, that means we grew under the expectation and we grew under what we should in order to avoid creating more deficits. More deficits meaning what? More deficits of poverty, more deficits of inequality, more deficits of health, more deficits of education, more deficits of justice, more deficits of security, what have you. So basically, what you have is under, you said it very elegantly, I repeat, very nice way to put it, which is underperforming. But it basically means no growth during 6 years, and this 7th year looks like it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, let me to go to focus in the question you raised. You say no growth, well, but the country has been fairly stable. Financial stability has been good, the currency has been stable. This is the positive side of the equation. On the other side, what kind of fiscal, monetary, finance policy do you recommend in order to overcome this no growth, as you said?
Well, first of all, you don't have enough finance to pay for what's going on. Because if you add the pensions, and if you add the scholarships to the young people, and if you add the payments that you have to make automatically to the states and municipalities, and then you get to about 80% or 85% of the budget. That means with no fiscal reform, you cannot make ends meet. It's as simple as that. You cannot make ends meet. And therefore, what you need is a fiscal reform,
So are you
first and foremost.
Sorry to interrupt you. Are you advocating for a fiscal reform that increases the tax collections?
Yes, I mean a progressive tax reform, and one that will allow for the government to receive more income. Let me tell you what the numbers are. 17% debt, 17% of fiscal revenue to GDP. Okay, so is that high or is that low? Or the average of the OECD is 34%, double that. That means we are, now I'm not suggesting we go from 17 to 34 right away, but there's a long way to go.
Okay.
And so I would say, yes, that is critical, but then I would stay away from everything that scares the clientele. Oh, que espanta la clientela.
Yeah.
Huh?
We understand.
Because, among other things, this some of the Mr. Sturzenegger mentioned some of the things that made no sense in Argentina. Well, I have to say some of the things make no sense, like electing the judges. Why would you, elect the judges? We look like Bolivia. Why would you like to be like Bolivia? You're already Mexico, no?
Changing, Mr. Gurría, changing a little bit the topic, Ángel.
Huh?
Changing a little bit the topic, going to I want to focus you on growth, yeah? So understand me, because this is the topic of the conference. So international trade has been one of the important successes of the Mexican economy, yeah? So on behalf of the two factors of what the economy says about two factors, the NAFTA, now called USMCA agreement, that improved significantly the capacity of Mexico to export into the US. And the other one was the famous nearshoring substitution of goods that came in from other parts of the world. The nearshoring were two. How do you see this going with the...
Nearshoring first. Well, first of all, we're not taking advantage of the nearshoring phenomenon. Why? Well, because 75 to 78% of the direct foreign investment that we get is from already established companies. That means they reinvest, rather than from new companies that want to come and take advantage of the nearshoring. So we basically, and a little bit of goes to Vietnam, a little bit goes to other parts of Central America, a little bit goes to Cambodia, et cetera, et cetera. That very little comes to Mexico. And Mexico is perfectly suited. Mexico is next door. Mexico is geographically privileged in the sense that it is the place to come and do the nearshoring. But it won't happen, and that's because, among other things, we are making it difficult. We are scaring the clientele. We are making it difficult for people to come and say, okay, I will do it in Mexico. And the reason is because right now, with the election of all the judges, guess where all the decisions are going to go? Well, they're going to go in favor of the government. And therefore, we may fall in against, some, including international treaties.
Yeah, you identify the rule of law as one of the main obstacles for the foreign investment, additional foreign direct investment in Mexico. Which other obstacles?
I would say rule of law is one, is two, and is three.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
So I would say rule of law is quite critical in terms of the fact that now there are other things.
But you identify this clearly now.
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's fine. Going again to the UMSCA potential agreement, there is some papers already published. Where do you see the main friction points between Mexico, Canada, and US?
The USMCA, which is the old NAFTA, and the new TEMEC, as it's called, Tratado México, Estados Unidos y Canadá, TEMEC. Now, what happens with the TEMEC is that we don't know where we will end up. As many countries don't know, because they are saying, well, you get 90 days extension. But guess how many people are going to invest in Mexico during that period? Nobody is going to, in their right mind, to invest in Mexico. And why? Because nobody wants to invest in a country which is threatened in 30, in 60, or 90 days that it is going to suffer the fall of tariffs and the aranceles, no?
Yeah.
So the problem is that people, while we do not settle the question of the so-called TEMEC or the US Free Trade Agreement and with Canada, and last but not least, try to make it a trilateral, because right now, Mr. Trump is suggesting that maybe he'll go with Canada on one side, and maybe he'll go with Mexico on the other side. And what we're saying is we will be better off with Canada and Mexico together with the United States.
We were told this morning that Latin America is becoming more important from the US point of view, yeah? So in the new geopolitical order, this may help not only to go on bilateral basis, to go more in multilateral. So, but as you know, Santander is a bank, and we are interested in, as investors in Mexico, we've been there for many years, we are highly interested in having a say in the growth of the Mexican economy and cooperating in the critical sectors with the public authorities. What's the role you see for the banks in the current situation in Mexico to improve the prospects of growth in the Mexican economy?
Without the banks, it's not going to happen. And I mean, more bank accounts, bancarización, that is absolutely required. Then you also have, which is quite crucial, that people pay with cards rather than with cash. And I would say, last but not least, that there is more credit extended to the companies of Mexico, because credit is crucial for the presence of the banks, but also anybody who is given a loan has to have a bank account.
Funding to fund
Yeah,
the loan.
yeah, no, a bank account. And I would say that it is quite crucial and quite critical that we go, as I said, payments of cash, and then more credit, because there's still very little credit in terms of the whole of the economy.
Let's elaborate.
Especially for small and medium enterprises.
Yeah, let's elaborate a little bit more on this. Financial inclusion. So we've been for many, many years across the region, including Mexico. You mentioned the bancarization, that is a word we were using very often in the past. But now we have a new actor in the financial world, that is the technology. The technology, up to what point the technology can help us to leverage the possibility of going faster in the financial inclusion that, as you rightly said, provides some funds, and with these funds you can fund SMEs and other growth. Up to what point you see the technology being a significant enabler to the financial inclusion in Mexico?
Financial inclusion is critical to achieve all of the above. More credit cards and more credit, and then less payment by cash. And, financial inclusion is the great absence in the banking sector in Mexico. And I would say that today, financial inclusion is also the key to making it happen. I would say, it's like we said that it is indispensable, but financial inclusion is a process that has to continue and continue and continue, and until you get 80, 85%, 90% of people with bank accounts.
Okay, so there is 1 minute left. We are running out of time. Yeah, so just one final question. If you could recommend only one policy, only one, to secure Mexico long-term prosperity, what would be?
Okay, that's a tough one. I would say productivity, and then second, I would say productivity, and third, guess.
Productivity again.
You guessed right. Why? Because our productivity is about 1/3 of that of the United States. And we have a free trade agreement with the United States, which we want to keep. So how do you keep it? Well, you keep up with the productivity, because otherwise, how are wages going to improve if you do not improve productivity? How are salaries in general throughout the economy, how is it going to improve? Well, you cannot unless you increase productivity. So I would say, if we want to be up, as they say in the United States, up to the Joneses, to keep up with the Joneses, keep up with the neighbors. In this case, with the United States, we have to have increased productivity.
Okay. Thank you, Angel. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. So.